Well, hello everyone, this is Drizzt with another gameplay commentary, this one being about the legendary MP5. So, here you go. My shout out of the day goes to SPC_audacious for suggesting this on my STG77OG video comments. Just as a note for all of you, the MP5 is one of my favorite submachine guns throughout most shooter games. It is almost always a good gun, and that is the case also in Battlefield Play4Free. The MP5 is manufactured by Heckler & Koch, if I pronounce that correctly. And in fact, the real-life version of it looks closer to the G53 than the MP5 in this game. And in fact, both function quite similarly in terms of playstyle. Being a submachine gun for the engineered class, the MP5 has relatively low damage of 21 to 23 at close range, 16 to 20 at medium range, and 11 to 15 at long range. That is in fact the lowest damage of any of the submachine guns for close range. And when going towards the longer ranges, it goes towards a more average spectrum of damage. The main factor that makes this weapon very unique is its recoil, which is very low, and in fact that makes up, in my opinion, for the reduced damage of this gun. In the past it used to be even better. As of now, when this video has been recorded, there have been about 3 updates in the past 2 months where the MP5 has gotten increased recoil and decreased accuracy over range. So in the past it was a very, very good weapon to have in your arsenal for the engineer class. And it still is, don't get me wrong on that one. Something I really do appreciate on this gun are the iron sights. They are probably some of my favorite of the whole Battlefield Play4Free weapon collection. It is pretty much a narrow strip of metal. Well, not narrow, sometimes it is a little too fat for my liking. And that narrow strip of metal is located inside a circle used to center that middle piece of metal. It is a very simple yet effective iron sight, and I find it is just fine for the types of engagements engineers usually have, because this weapon is suited for more defensive gameplay, which is relative for the engineer class. The reload of this weapon is not so great and takes about 4.8 seconds, the longest reload for submachine guns being 5 seconds. So this one is almost the longest possible. That is one issue I have found with it. But otherwise, I do not see many other cons to this weapon which significantly decrease its effectiveness. Another aspect I really like about this gun is the animation for aiming down sight, which, even though statistically has the same amount of time for all of the engineer weapons, in fact has at least the fastest looking animation of the weapons supplied for the engineer class. That makes it seem like a very good, quick weapon to use when you are stuck in those close range situations. And it provides a better timing for knowing when your aim will be increased by that aiming down sight. By having 24 bullets per magazine with the base gun and 96 bullets total, I find that the bullet count is pretty average for submachine guns, and it is not reduced to a very low amount as some defensive-minded weapons tend to have sometimes. Overall, this weapon, in my opinion, is the little brother of the G53. Both are great for long range, as I have said, and both even have similar recoils. Oh, I find it interesting that this gun was nerfed right before the G53 came out, and leads me to be a little bit suspicious about that, almost. Now, the reason I call it the little brother of the G53 is because it has pretty much proportionally lower damage, and the recoil is slightly greater, but very similar to that of the G53. And the amount of bullets and range of both guns is very close. However, the unlock prices of both guns are much different, and if you're willing to spend the extra money on it, I would say that the G53 is better, but if you're looking for a slightly cheaper alternative route to getting the G53, the MP5 is great for that, because it only costs somewhere around 5,000 funds, versus the G53, which costs more like 20,000 funds. The MP5 works great on almost every map, which is also another plus to it, versus some other submachine guns out there which aren't as versatile. However, the best ones are probably the medium range maps such as Karkand or Myanmar or Mashter. With those maps, one can use the MP5 as a vehicle protection if someone tries to take your vehicle while you are out of it. And with its design of offering great protection at medium range and even long range, the MP5 can go against assault rifles and light machine guns with relative ease. Of course, though, the engineer always has their enemy with the recon, and most specifically the long distance recon. And even though the MP5 can do some damage against one, any good recon will be able to put a headshot onto an engineer before the engineer kills them. Whatever weapon they have, be it MP5, G53, or any close range submachine gun. Some attachments I would suggest for the MP5 would be Viper mags, CQC ammo, or any other damage boosting ammo. The increase in ammo is not so important because the rate of fire on the MP5 is not very great compared to many other submachine guns. As for stocks, I would choose Thunderbolt or Tactical, but not Nemesis or any damage reducing stocks. And for barrels, I think the precision barrel would be the best on this one, because it gives one less to think about for long distance play and having to lead one shot. Having the precision barrel will make the bullet travel faster and therefore not have the user of the weapon have to lead their target as much. Oh, and by the way, right here is a good moment where you see that the hipfire accuracy of the MP5 is also very good, and that is also another bonus to it. If you are stuck in a very quick situation where you can't aim down sight, hip firing this gun is still quite effective. But anyways, getting back to attachments, for sights I would suggest the red dot sight on this one, because the M145 I actually tried out and is not very helpful on the MP5. It does not need, since it is an SMG, that much of a zoom factor, and it feels awkward when you're wielding such a small weapon with such a large sight on it. However, a sight does work, as they always do, and that's why I suggest a red dot. The iron sights are fine to go with on their own though, and there does not have to be any extra sight or scope purchased. In conclusion for this commentary, I would say that this is probably one of the most versatile submachine guns for the engineer class, and should definitely be a first purchase for anyone willing to work on their engineer more. Anyways, that is all I have for now on the MP5. I will have more on other weapons in the future. Just check out my channel regularly. I will be making more videos. Hope to see you next time, wherever you are, in the battlefield, on the forums, on YouTube. See you all next time.